It should be a crime if you live in Smithfield and don't know that a railroad used to cut right through this town, and it made 4 separate stops. I'm on the North Providence Smithfield town line, standing on the railroad bed. We're gonna follow this all the way to North Smithfield. It may get confusing here at the Esmond Mills because one side of the track would split to go in between the mill buildings for loading, and then right behind me, it would be going straight, continuing on its route, and going right alongside the mills here. Hold it here so they know that we're lining it up. Okay, so right now, guys, we're lining up the photo. We have an old photo, and what we're trying to do is line up that smokestack with the roof of this old building. That's an addition. So as you can see here, we have the old smokestack with the roof of the old building. The photographer was standing in between the 2 rails where we should be right now. And how I know I'm right, we look at the windows and door of that old home, which actually these homes have had additions, but if you look at this, they have 2 windows up top, 2 windows up top with a window and a door, which is exactly what this house has. The 2 spaced out windows on top with the 2 windows and a door on the bottom, the same pattern, and the centered chimney, just like in the photo. So the photographer was standing right in that area with the smokestack lined up with the edge of the roof of the old mill building. PJ's going for a walk. And he stood right about here 100 years ago. After it crossed Esmond Street, it would go through the parking lot of what is now the Esmond Rec Center. This is the old railroad bed that heads to the Blessing Box and will eventually cross over Farnham Pike. Then the train would come on down this way, past the Blessing Box that was not there at the time, and cross over to Farnham Pike. And it crossed Farnham Pike and went right over there. You can still see the railroad bed. Coming from Farnham Pike, it would go right across here, across Higgins Street, and continue that way. So the railroad would come this way, and here it crosses Homestead Ave, and actually, you can still see a little remnants of the old path here, before it makes its second stop here at Georgeville. But actually, it went right from there, cut through under the snow, went that way, and made a stop right up there. All right, so guys, we're here at the second stop. As you can see, pay attention to the crown molding on the building behind the train station, which is this building right here. Same exact chimney placement, same exact everything. The molding is a dead giveaway. So the train station was right here, probably on that side of the road, or a little bit closer this way. So yeah, this is the second stop in Georgeville. So the train would follow Georgeville Pond going north. Here's the beach and the condos off Farnham Pike. And it would head this way, going towards the Stillwater stop. Then the train would come this way. The condos were there, come right up through here. This is Sweet Road, and over that way towards Stillwater. So down here, PJ, what am I looking at down here? Where the train. Okay. So this is leftover of the Ice House Foundation. And as the train followed Georgeville Pond north, it went right along here to where present day 295 is, where it would eventually come to the Stillwater stop. There is current day 295, and the train would continue heading north here till we get to Capron Road. And here would be the stop that they called Stillwater. Now let's pull up the old photograph of the Stillwater stop. Put it on the screen right now. This home, built in the 1790s, should be the home in the original picture here at the stop. As you can see, the top window seems to have moved over a bit because they put an addition on this side of the home, having to move over the top window. As the train continued north, here we are at the 116 bridge. It actually didn't go all the way to where you park the car on Farnham Pike. It followed this path here, to cross Farnham Pike after going through Wesco, and it actually goes behind the Elks Lodge. So guys, here we are at the Elks Lodge. The train continued north alongside what is now Stump Pond along this railroad bed and headed north towards Brayton Road. Alright guys, so here's at the Farnham Pike Dog Park. The train continued north. Here's the old railroad bed, and you can see not to dig because they now have fiber optic cables in there, and it slowly crossed Farnham Pike this way diagonally. And the railroad bed continues north to Brayton Road. So the train continued north here on Brayton Road, and it crossed that way, got a little closer to Farnham Pike before it got to Rogler Farm Road. But as you can see in the picture I'm putting on the screen now, there was a little train house here. They would stop here, and this stop was called just Smithfield. The train here continued north to Rogler Farm Road, very close to Farnham Pike, headed north. The train continued north alongside Farnham Pike and headed to the North Smithfield town line. This section of rail was originally called the Pasco Line, and then later on called the Providence-Springfield Line. And what it really does is it connects down in Oneyville over here through the mills of Smithfield up to the Boston and New York line. So it's really just a connection between those two spots.
Another banger mini doc. It's all about that Channel Zero. Let's get it.